Alrighty.
All right.
Welcome to the Marvel bracket. I don't know why I said that.
All right. Hello and welcome to this. I don't know what we're gonna call these. The rest is film history, like bonus. We don't want to call it bonus episodes because we do a lot of these. I don't know. What do you?
Starting with confusion is great.
Yeah.
This is whatever it's gonna be.
This is what we're doing a Marvel bracket, and we're very excited to do it.
Yeah.
But I's not here today. No.
Yeah, she doesn't care as much as we do about things.
Just
So
in general, yeah.
as you're gonna see throughout us doing this,
Yeah.
she kind of has a little bit more of a life, I think, actually, is what it really is.
She's in San Diego right now, probably swimming with dolphins or whatever, being exciting life, and we're just like
Yeah,
Marvel bracket. Let's do it.
we're ranking Marvel movies. That's what's going on. Yeah, we'll probably do similar types of brackets, just kind of random things.
Yeah.
Hopefully that we are opinionated about. I
Yes.
feel like Marvel is one of those things
Yeah.
where I feel like there's a pretty good general consensus for a lot of people's like favorites or
Yeah,
the
yeah.
bad ones.
Yeah.
I think I have some wild takes. I don't think
yeah.
they're wild because I think I'm correct, but I have a feeling I have some. I know there's at least a couple where people are gonna think I'm crazy. But
I probably won't say it to your face, but behind your
no,
back.
you should. I really have no idea what your Marvel opinions are at all.
That would
So
actually
I'm
make for a
excited.
really good podcast if the two of you would talk about these
If we
hot
were
takes.
disagreeing,
Right,
yeah.
That would make a great episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, just pretend to go along with what I'm saying.
Yeah, I agree. Just everything, just no opinions. Just I agree. Yeah. So do we want to explain the rules? Should I?
How about, do you want to explain the rules, Michael?
Yeah.
Sure. I'm joining today just to be the tiebreaker and moderator for this bracket. So we're just going to be taking Collider's rankings for the entire MCU and essentially converting that to a bracket, starting off with 32 seed and the 1 seed, similar to normal brackets. So the idea is do we want to actually put a timer on it, or do we want to just... Maybe no timer. Just essentially the two of you are going to come to an agreement which one is the superior movie of the pairings, and eventually we'll get to the best of the MCU.
Yes, and we're gonna try to convince each other, but if we can't quickly do that, Michael, our producer, is gonna be the tiebreaker, and let's do it.
And we're going to try not to hate the movie that we chose as the best movie. I feel like we might end up just getting upset at what ends up winning.
We're
but
just
we'll
both
see.
mad. Yeah. It might happen. Yeah. All right. Well, let's get into it. Yeah.
Alrighty. Warning, all of these opinions are completely subjective.
Yes.
What?
They're completely subjective, but we're right.
Yeah.
Completely objective, but this is right.
Yeah. Yeah. You're like me and Michael's are subjective, and yours is
Mine-
correct.
exactly.
Yeah. We're
Exactly.
I'm right, you're wrong. Let's get into it. All
Yeah.
right, so I think that's a Try Guys intro. All right, so first up to bat is what Collider thought was the number 32 seed, Iron Man 2 versus Captain America, the First Avenger.
which is the 1 seed, which is we were talking about.
Yeah,
this
that's kind of crazy.
wild,
That's
yeah.
the best Marvel movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
What? Okay, so remind me, Iron Man 2,
Yeah.
who's the villain of that one? Is
Whiplash.
Who?
The Whiplash.
The electric
Yeah.
thing. Dude. Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah. And Justin Hammer, who's like,
I'm trying to remember who it's been maybe 10 years since I've seen Iron Man 2.
straight. Okay.
And I've seen, the last time I saw Captain America was last year. So I'm just trying to remember what happens in Iron Man 2. Maybe it's just forgettable.
Maybe
I don't
that's
know.
it. It's generally considered like one of the weaker ones.
Yeah.
I'm not of that opinion. I really like it, but
Oh, interesting.
yeah, I like we were talking about this off air. Like your favorite character is going to determine like
Okay.
some of what your favorite movie is. Iron Man is like obviously like one of the main characters,
Yeah.
but like I still love his character so much, and then like as a reflection of that, I do love his movies. Even Iron Man 2, like which is considered not a great movie or whatever, I still love it. So I'm trying to think of like just like jog your memory a little bit. He has the that's the one where Rhodey becomes War Machine.
Right.
Like he steals
and
the
I know
armor.
the electric guy like interrupts some NASCAR event or something. I don't know. Like
F1. I believe it was
that's-
F1 racing in Europe.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what stands out to me from Iron Man 2.
I will say the suitcase Iron Man suit is probably in my opinion my favorite part of that movie. Just him just getting the.
That's an amazing. You
Like-
remember that part?
You remember that part? You remember that part?
Where I guess his suit comes out of a suitcase.
Like no,
he
it's
steps on a suitcase
Oh,
and then it
yes.
like
kind of
yes.
pulls up on
Yeah.
him.
yeah.
Okay.
Like to me, somehow that is still the peak of that movie.
Of that movie.
Which might say something about my opinion. But
Okay. So do you say you like Iron Man 2? Do you like
Yes.
it more than the first Captain America movie?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Going to, I mean, I think how little I remember speaks.
Yeah, yeah,
enough
literally.
for how much I care about Iron Man 2.
Yeah.
Honestly, in general, I think the Iron Man sequels, some MCU sequels, I'm just like, do those even matter? Really, is how I feel. And then there are ones where I'm like, this is clearly the superior movie. But Captain America: First Avenger is a good. It's number one seed. That's kind of crazy, but it's a good movie. Yeah.
That's I'd rather like I think Iron Man 2 is not as bad as people say, and I do. And it's like a fun. You can like throw it on. It's like a
Sure.
good movie, but First Avenger is like it's just like a good
Yeah.
movie.
I like it better.
Yeah.
So we are in agreement.
Cool.
Okay.
First Avenger.
Captain America.
yeah, Captain America: First Avenger. I will say one fun fact about Iron Man 2 being that's kind of the introduction of Shield and Natasha Romanoff and Black Widow,
right.
which it seems like she was just always there.
Is
but
that
that's-
actually her intro?
It's
Iron
her
Man
intro.
2?
Yeah. She's hired as an assistant, and then turns out, wait, you're a lot more than an assistant, and she ends up being this spy
Widow,
espionage. Yeah. But
need
Captain
to
America, I
rewatch
think,
that movie,
stands
I
out. It stands out as just a really solid fictional historical.
Yeah.
I could have said historical fiction movie on its own without the MCU.
Yeah.
Like I think it just is good on
And
its
I
own.
think they just do origin movies pretty well. Like they have a pretty good track record for origin movies.
I'm trying to think. I think I do enjoy the first couple origin movies a lot. I think as it gets later, like you get to like Captain Marvel and stuff like that, it's kind of like it's not repetitive, but it's kind of like you've seen this before.
Not naming the next movie.
Okay,
No. All right.
right.
All right. So we've decided it. Captain America 1.
Yes.
All right. Next up, Thor: The Dark World 31 versus Iron Man.
It's Iron Man, right? I mean, like, because you haven't even seen Thor: The Dark World.
Okay, so here's the first hot. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, I don't think I've seen Thor: Dark World. I think part of it was that, like, when the first MCU movies were coming out, I was maybe like 12 or 13 or something.
Yeah.
And I don't think I understood the concept that they were like gonna be creating this MCU, and I needed to watch all these movies.
Yeah.
And like after the fact of the Thor movies, I just heard that they were terrible, so I didn't care to watch them really. So yeah, I don't think I've seen Thor: The Dark World.
It's generally considered like one of the weaker ones.
And Iron Man is amazing.
It's I'm not even as big of, and I guess we'll see that as we get into the later bracket. I think it's maybe I don't have the same love for it that like other people do, but I was also like similar where I was the first Marvel movie I saw was the Avengers, so I didn't see any of them before, and then people who have like that like well it built everything and like it's like the first one and I don't have that same like attachment to it because my first was Avengers. Does that make
Okay.
sense? I don't know.
Yeah, I think I saw Iron Man in the theater.
Oh.
And I was never like a comic book reader growing up, so I actually am kind of even like wondering what made my family go see it in the theater.
Yeah.
But we did, and I really enjoyed it. It is interesting. I think looking back on it, it's kind of a slow burn, especially
Yeah.
unless I'm just totally remembering it correctly. But he spends kind of a lot of time like unconscious or like getting worked on, sort of. But something about it, I don't know, it works for me. But honestly, his casting too is so good.
Incredible.
He's amazing.
Yeah.
And yeah, I feel like there's probably a lot of commentary about the military in the Iron Man movies, maybe, but I was maybe 12, like I said, when I saw
Right.
it in the theater. And I've seen it since then, but not really like as an adult. I haven't seen Iron Man in a long time. But Robert Downey Jr. is great. I remember I love the action. he is really, and when you think about the MCU as a whole, his character is one of the most integral characters to the whole story.
Definitely.
And I think they do a really great job showing his growth throughout the series. But I think it is a really great origin story. It's a
great movie.
Yeah.
Cool. So it's Iron Man. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Iron Man
I
it
don't
is.
have any comments about Thor: The Dark World. Like I said, didn't see it, and it's probably trash. And I feel like I can say that, and I don't need to see the movie to say that. So
Cool. Moving on.
That's it. Funny, Thor: The Dark World super didn't matter until Endgame, where Thor goes back in time and ends up in the world of
In
Thor: Dark
Thor,
World
yeah.
and talking to his mother, who is about to die in canonically
Right.
Dark World.
That's
So it's
the
funny to
only-
me that like they really forced the relevance of Dark World in Endgame. They really wanted that to take off. All right, Iron Man is it. All right, next up, The Incredible Hulk versus The Winter Soldier.
I haven't seen The Incredible.
yeah, the Incredible Hulk is so bad.
Oh, you
Is that?
Ed Norton.
That's not the Eric Bana one. I think you might
Ed
be thinking of the
Norton.
Eric Bana one.
Oh, maybe
The Edward Norton one is the canonical MCU one.
Yeah.
the one with. Sorry, what's the name of the actor? I always forget his name.
Ed
Mark
Norton?
Ruffalo.
Not
No.
Mark Ruffalo.
So
Right.
Just like
Incredible
Rhodey
Hulk is not Mark Ruffalo.
no.
in this movie, but it is the same
yeah.
character. It is canonically
Right.
the same character.
Right. Yeah, that movie's bad. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, and it also. This is one of my biggest pet peeves. Whenever people get recast in sequels or like in a TV show, when they recast a character and they try and just convince me and pretend like this is not that, like they didn't change it. Because it's a TV show, so you can't go like, oh, look, someone else is now playing. Like, you have to pretend that he's the same person.
Yeah.
And I can never get behind it, ever. The only recast I feel like that works is Dumbledore in Harry Potter.
Well, he died. Yeah. The
Well,
actor
no,
passed
right.
away.
Well, but also, like, growing up watching those movies, I didn't even know that there was a recast. That's what I mean.
Well, that's just kid memory, I guess.
Yeah.
Sure, I guess. But when you take a character and it's not even like, in my head, I only picture Mark Ruffalo, so I actually can't even picture the actor who plays the Hulk in this movie.
You didn't even know his name.
But I don't. But there are some like TV shows too where they replace someone like 3 seasons in, and they try and tell me it's the same person, and I have to stop watching the show. Like, it becomes unwatchable.
Yeah,
I'm like,
Ed Norton was the rich guy in Glass Onion. That's the actor.
yeah, that's absolutely ridiculous. See, that just even makes me more upset. Like, this movie just got worse. Because at least pick someone who looks similar. Well, you know? Like,
I mean, but is that the movie's fault though, or is that Joss Whedon's fault for casting?
no, but
Mark
I'm saying,
Ruffalo?
like, retrospectively, that just makes me upset at the movie.
Got it.
Are
I
you
just-
blaming Joss Whedon? I'd blame the people who cast the original Hulk movie because they were like,
Edward
oh,
Norton.
we just need, like, it was Universal. This is the one movie in the MCU that is not done by a Marvel controlled by Kevin Feige necessarily. Like, it's co-financed with Universal. So it's kind of like a dual release. Anyway, enough business stuff.
Yeah, but it's
yeah.
just so, whenever there's a recast, it's so hard to convince me that this person's even the same character. Like, they're not playing the same character in my mind. So
Yeah.
that's one reason. In general, though, the movie, I feel like, doesn't age well. Like, and I don't know, something about I feel like Hulk is an interesting character. And for you to have a spotlight movie on him and for me to just not care is kind of like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, I misspoke. Sorry. I said Disney. This is before Disney even bought Marvel.
Yeah.
It was Paramount at the time that was controlling the rest of them. Anyway, but yeah, they force-fed Mark Ruffalo to us.
Yeah.
And he's the best Hulk. Mark Ruffalo.
Yeah, Mark
is. Not-
Ruffalo's
not
great.
Edward
So
Norton.
would you agree that it was a necessary recasting?
Recasting of Mark Ruffalo.
You know, I mean, for me to not even remember who was Hulk before him
Yeah.
says enough about, like, they did it early enough. Like, and Mark Ruffalo just was so good.
Yeah.
So I guess, yeah, it wasn't necessarily recasting. I'll let that one slide. But, yeah, also I feel like, and again, I'm not a comic book reader, but I think from what I've seen from people talking about the Hulk, I'm like, the Hulk can do so much more than what they give him to do in the movies. I feel like in terms of his powers and things like that. Like really in the movies, you just see him smash things, and I feel like he can do a lot more than that. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of another thing he could do, but
Spending a lot of time here on the Hulk. How about Winter Soldier?
Well, I feel like this is such a self-explanatory like win because the Hulk is not.
yeah, it is, and we'll get to the Winter Soldier a little later. But it's like literally like one of my favorite movies of all time. Love the Winter Soldier.
Wow.
Yeah,
Alrighty. So we're
Yeah.
saving that for next round?
Sure. Yeah, we'll talk about.
I
it
mean,
more.
yeah, that one's gonna win, and yeah, we're gonna talk about that.
Alrighty. Winter Soldier wins. And now this one at least is to me two good movies going back to back. But let's see. Doctor Strange versus Black Panther.
Ooh.
It's Black Panther for me,
Okay.
and I'm curious what you think.
I mean, so I also think it's Black Panther, but I will say Doctor Strange is really good.
Doctor Strange is really good.
I really like Doctor Strange.
Yeah. That being said, I never watched Doctor Strange again, and I've seen
interesting.
Black Panther at least twice.
I think Doctor Strange is one of the ones I've seen the most.
Okay.
I just really like it. I don't know what it is. Part of it is just the trippy sequences and the kind of
Those are
like,
awesome. Yeah.
and it's just it feels like it's just a super different Marvel movie.
Yeah.
Um,
Definitely.
I love Wong.
He's great. Yeah.
I love the idea that like he's this super arrogant, like such a crappy person, honestly. Like
Yeah.
so full of himself, and he loses the one thing that like gave him any kind of value, and he just gets humbled so hard. Like, and honestly, he still is kind of like an arrogant jerk a little bit, like, and thinks he's smarter than the other MCU people, and like does But I like the idea of like an unlikable character, and then they lose everything, and then they like his kind of starting over thing.
Yeah.
And so I appreciated that aspect of it too. I will say the villain in the movie is the one part that I think most people are like, it's kind of weak.
Yeah.
Also, Tilda Swinton as the
ancient one?
the Sorcerer Supreme,
Yeah.
right?
I think it's the ancient one, but she's the current Sorcerer Supreme.
right, and okay,
Yeah.
yeah, she's awesome to me in the movie. I love her.
She's great in everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the magic, I think what did it for me is his powers are so unique, I think very different from all the other superhero kind of powers you see. I think just magic and magical abilities are more interesting than like I'm super strong or I can fly or I can run fast. So I think that's why I like it too. But all that being said, yeah, I think Black Panther's a better movie.
It's incredible.
I mean, yeah, the soundtrack is amazing.
Yeah.
Just the world building, the acting.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna even like when we get to talking about Wakanda Forever, I think Wakanda Forever has some of the best acting in the MCU. Like, if not the best. I think they really got just so well cast. Great action, emotional. Yeah. Why? So why were you so quick to say Black Panther?
I think because the villain's right. Like he's like there's such a. I think that there's such a meaningful kind of message and like theme behind Black Panther, in that it's just so like. It's one of those things where like I don't even think the character like the physical like powers and stuff like that of Black Panther are like super interesting because like he's kind of invincible and they do right around that in the movie Black Panther, but I think like just all of the actual like T'Challa and like the world, the fact that like Killmonger like he started his life differently, like he, like T'Challa was raised in this palace and stuff like that, and like it's just these clashing ideologies. And he actually, like I've heard this point said, like he actually changes the mind. Killmonger changes the mind of like the main hero. It like he's such a good villain in that he changes the theme of the movie and he like kind of, well he pushes home the theme of the movie, even though his kind of his ways about it of going about his mission are wrong. Yeah, just amazing.
Yeah,
it's a great movie.
Yeah. I'm sad to see Doctor Strange go. But yeah, Black
Sorry,
Panther.
Doctor Strange. There's a
Yeah.
lot of good ones.
This was definitely a tough lineup, but yep, Black Panther makes its way through.
Yeah.
Next up, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness versus Avengers Endgame.
Okay.
I think it's pretty simple.
Yeah, Doctor Strange. Right?
Yeah.
Doctor Strange is getting disrespected right now.
I know. Sorry, Doctor Strange.
You know, and I like this Doctor Strange movie too. I mean, it was good. I love Wanda. I think my biggest complaint with the movie is it felt like, well, then although I guess it is like the Darkhold kind of, you know, corrupted her, but I'm like, Wanda, I don't know. It just feels like we kind of skipped, like it just happened really fast where she's like, oh, she's a supervillain now, kind of. I don't know.
Yeah. It was this weird like mishmash of like she at the end of WandaVision, she kind of dealt with her grief, and then like they had that post credit scene where she's like learning this stuff,
Right.
and then she was just like evil. It was a little,
Yeah, but I mean, and it really did get overshadowed for me by Everything Everywhere All at Once. I think that was part of why it was a little underwhelming to me because I'm like, that's how you do a multiverse.
Yep.
This one, but there were a lot of really cool moments. I enjoyed it. But yeah, Avengers Endgame is like the penultimate moment.
it's Avengers Endgame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's really not much to say.
Yeah.
There. I mean,
Yeah. Not necessarily. I don't love it as much as Infinity War, but it wraps everything up. It's you know, gives a satisfying conclusion.
Yeah,
to Tony
very
Stark's
satisfying.
story.
Yeah.
It's all great. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Avengers Endgame.
I'm excited for us to disagree.
I know we've been
I know it's
agreeing.
gonna happen, but
We're mostly agreeing. Yeah.
Alrighty, let's see about the next one then. Endgame wins, and I'm sure we'll save that for another round. Ant-Man versus Guardians of the Galaxy.
It's Guardians of the Galaxy for
yes,
me.
it is. Yep.
Yeah.
And I like Ant-Man. I think Ant-Man is one of my. Oh, maybe I don't want to say that. I was gonna say it's one of my favorite origin story movies
It's
in
good.
MCU.
Yeah.
But I was like, I don't know if it's one of my favorite, but it is good. I
Yeah.
think that's another perfect casting to me.
Paul Rudd. Yeah.
And the supporting characters are really funny.
Yeah.
Michael Pena being a huge highlight there.
Yeah.
For sure.
For the longest time, one of the only Latino like characters in the MCU. I know there was like America Chavez came like a lot later, but nothing else. So sorry, I'm getting a call right now. Can we cut that out? Sorry, let's restart. Hang on.
Restart the whole thing?
No.
From the top.
Yeah.
Bringing it up more.
Pair him up again. Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, Ant-Man.
Yeah, I do think another thing about Ant-Man that I like is because of his abilities, and especially later on when you get like the Pym
Particles.
particles. I think the fight scenes and combat they can be a lot more interesting than just punch fight. But you know, like I'm thinking too of like the ending of Civil War where it's Iron Man versus Captain America. It's like, I mean, it's an exciting fight because of the stakes and the emotions in it, but I'm like, their fighting is not as interesting as like what you can do with Pym particles and things like that. You know, to me at least. I don't know. But
I can get that, yeah.
so I enjoy Ant-Man. But Guardians of the Galaxy, I think, is Marvel's best own like
Non-Avengers.
non-Avengers, yeah. Just like volume 1, 2, and 3. Like they just consistently amazing. Some of the funniest MCU movies and funniest characters. Like all of them get their chance to shine so well.
Yeah.
The music is amazing.
Music is incredible.
The movies just has so much personality.
Yeah.
And it's just so good.
Yeah.
Even the villain in that movie is not like anything crazy or like really super interesting, but the movie's just so fun.
So much fun. Yeah. The all of the like the yeah, just like the soundtrack, like you said, like just all the characters. So like just like a nice little like family. Like we're all a family by the end. It's so nice. Like they all hold hands. It's just like a good movie, man. It's Did I tell you? So around the time that this movie came out on Blu-ray, this would have been like, you know, end of 2014 or whatever. I was like with my relatives, and I would have been like 13 years old. And I was like, I love this movie. Let's watch this. It's called Guardians of the Galaxy. And they were like, a bit older. And then like there's a scene kind of early on where Ronan, the villain, like kills this dude with his hammer. And there's like blood that like is like start like seeping down. And they were like, let's stop watching this movie. I was like, oh, okay.
That is a bit much. Although, if I'm not mistaken, it wasn't even like red blood. Wasn't it like an alien?
It's probably alien blood because they don't even really like have
Right.
blood and
Well, there was goo after a hammer, so
yeah.
I guess that was enough for Grandpa.
But yeah,
All right. So Guardians of the
Guardians of the
Galaxy.
Galaxy. Yeah.
I am Groot. All right, so
We are Groot, actually.
alrighty. Then next up, Ant-Man and the Wasp versus Avengers.
Okay.
These are
Like Ant-Man and Doctor Strange are kind of getting disrespected, but yeah.
yeah. It's just that like I enjoy most Marvel movies to some degree, but it's just like it's the Avengers. I mean, tell me what you think, but
I mean, I feel like this one is closer to me than some
Oh,
other
really?
ones. Just because I think that the first Avengers movie, I think at the time was like so exciting, and it was the first time they're all together and everything. Like
yeah.
that. But it's interesting. Even I feel like I've been seeing some discourse about it on Twitter recently. I refuse to call it X. It's Twitter. And they were just showing clips of it and how it looks like a bad TV crossover episode, and like the effects work is kind of like, and I'm watching some of the clips and I'm like when you really think about it, like some of this is kind of lame, like the Avengers stuff. But I don't know. Yeah, Ant-Man and the Wasp. I feel like people don't really like them. I mean, I liked it.
Me too.
I thought. I don't know. Because I watched it earlier this year because I'd never seen it, and I was getting ready to see Quantumania. So I watched it, and yeah, I just like the character of Ant-Man. Like, he's just fun. I thought the shenanigans of him being under house arrest and all the like scheming, trying to like get out of the house, but the whole thing with Randall Park as the cop,
Yeah.
like trying to catch him out of the house and
Yeah.
he can't. Like it's just kind of fun. I just like watching
Yeah.
Ant-Man. I don't know what it is, but I will say I think Avengers probably is a better movie. I think Loki's a super fun villain.
Yeah.
Seeing them all together for the first time is definitely exciting.
Yeah.
And the battle in New York, it's just fun stuff.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can definitely agree with. I watched if you would have asked me when I was like 12 or 13 what my favorite movie was, I probably would have said The Avengers. I watched it during quarantine and I was like, okay, it's not as special to me as it was then. Like, I think some of the like lighting and Captain America's costume, I've heard other people talk about this. It's in that movie, the worst costume. Have you seen it recently?
Yeah.
It's like pajamas. Like it's this weird skin tight pajamas. It's really bad. Yeah. And
Wow.
yeah. And the mask is, cause you know, he kind of has like a helmet in like the later movies. It's like the mask is kind of like a helmet. It's literally like, it's like a pullover, like weird mesh. Put it on the screen, Michael, but like it is one of the worst things. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, it's been a while since I've seen Avengers, so I don't totally know. But I know, like, yeah, it's really fun. It's kind of the introduction to the Infinity Stones too, right? Sort of. I guess at the end, like when they open up the Tesseract, because the whole thing's about the Tesseract, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, and again, Loki, I think is probably one of my favorite characters in the MCU.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I feel like I'm not as anti Ant-Man and the Wasp as some other people might be. Like even Ghost and the other dude who had Ghost for some reason, I don't know, and
Lawrence
had beef
Fishburne.
with like
Lawrence Fishburne, yeah.
beef with Pym, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
Like even I wasn't mad at any of that stuff. And yeah, it's fun, but I'm sorry, Ant-Man. The Avengers is the winner. Yeah. Wow.
Alrighty, Avengers takes it. Next up, another Ant-Man film. Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania versus Spider-Man No Way Home.
Okay. let me be the first to say, even when I was watching Spider-Man No Way Home, I was so excited by it, but I was like, objectively, I can see why people wouldn't like this. And I think like some of it is a little corny. That being said, I do love this movie.
I do. I don't even know if I would say I love No Way Home anymore. I think I saw it opening night, packed theater.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable. I was like, this is top 3 Marvel movie. This is unreal. I saw it 2 weeks later when I was home for Christmas with my family. Also packed theater, but like not opening night. Like the excitement is not like, it's not the same energy.
It's not the fans, yeah.
And so when you just watch Andrew Garfield walk through the portal and no one makes any noise, and then you see and you're just watching the movie and without the reaction and the crowd energy, it was like, this is kind of flat. Like it's very like they're pausing for effect.
It's like a sitcom.
Fan service moment. Fan service moment.
Yeah. And so I will say, watching it the second time, I was like, oh, this isn't really the same.
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot to be said for theater experience in general when you watch movies.
Yeah.
I think they have a big effect on how you enjoy the movie. But even without that, Tom Holland is so great. And Spider-Man, again, like I've never been really a comic book person or crazy about superheroes the way a lot of people are so into the fandom. But Spider-Man was always my favorite superhero.
Yeah.
I've seen the Tobey Maguire movies, I don't even know how many times. Saw the Andrew Garfield. So it, like having them back on the screen and then having Sandman back and Green Goblin. Willem Dafoe, I mean, say what you can have like not as high opinions on the movie, but Willem Dafoe gives one of the best villain performances in the whole MCU. Incredible. So good.
A repeat of being one of the best villains.
He's just unbelievable as Green Goblin.
So nice they got him twice,
Yeah. So even that alone to me makes this a better movie than a lot of other MCU movies. And you haven't seen Quantumania, right?
I haven't seen Quantumania, yeah.
I will say I kind of wish this wasn't against No Way Home because I would have liked to put this through to the next round because I like Quantumania way more than I think most people did. A lot of people were like, I think a lot of people were dwindling on their like interest in the MCU.
Yeah.
And then Quantumania was the one that established for them that they kind of don't really care anymore and it's going down like it's just not good anymore, really.
Yeah.
Whereas Quantumania for me was restoring my interest after not liking the last couple movies. And I was like, oh, this is really fun and I like this a lot. So
oh yeah, the opposite, yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of the opposite. I don't think it's one of the best MCU movies or anything. But again, I just love Ant-Man. He's so good. Paul Rudd is so good. I thought the Quantumania world was so fun. People were complaining. Again, part of it too is I think I don't really recognize when I'm watching movies necessarily what like bad visual effects. I'm not looking at a movie going, oh my eyes, the visual effects are so like people will walk away from a Marvel movie and complain about things like that.
Recently,
I'm just like,
especially, yeah.
I just feel like I don't see it. And yeah, I am at the level of I can go watch Avatar Way of Water in the theater and be like, this is not like the other things I'm seeing. And then see Ant-Man Quantumania and be like, this is clearly not to that quality or standard. But I'm not watching it like about to throw up because some VFX thing is not. Like, I just feel like I don't catch that stuff. So that didn't bother me. Jonathan Majors, I don't really know how we're all feeling about him right now, but he was really wonderful in the movie. I thought it was funny. I just thought it was a good movie. But yeah, No Way Home is just a better movie.
You could say it's like fan servicey and like
right.
I do think that does take away a little bit from it. I just think in general it's like not as good as the other Tom Holland movies, but especially when you take away the fan service bias kind of seeing it opening night. But I still think it's a good movie.
Yeah. So I would say No Way Home. Yeah.
Alrighty.
That one was a while.
I feel like I know we don't agree as much as it looks like we do right now. I'm really excited to get into some spicier.
It's interesting. I feel like we don't agree on like the other episodes we do, and in this one we're just
Alrighty. So No Way Home takes it.
Yeah.
Somewhat reluctantly, it seems like, but alrighty. Next up is Black Widow versus Thor Ragnarok.
I'm curious what you think.
I'm curious what you think.
To me, Black Widow is like one of the weaker ones.
Okay.
And I'm not even as big of a fan of Thor Ragnarok as like a lot of people are, but I think it's better than Black Widow.
Okay. I think this is my first
hot take. You love Black Widow?
I love Black Widow.
Whoa.
And here's why.
Uh-huh.
Well, actually, there's a lot of reasons why. I mean, Black Widow is one of my favorite MCU characters.
Mm-hmm.
I love Scarlett Johansson.
Mm-hmm.
I love Florence Pugh.
Amazing.
And she's so good in the movie. I love David Harbour. And he's so good in the movie. And their whole family relationship thing is just so much fun. Mm-hmm. It's a shame that we don't get a Black Widow story until after she dies. Mm-hmm. And it's a shame that this got delayed so much and just went to Disney Plus and everything.
Yeah.
But
I saw it in theaters.
I feel like a lot of people have complaints about this movie feeling, and I'm trying to remember what the criticisms are. If it's something where it just like doesn't feel like super significant, or if it's that it feels like this would have a much bigger impact than just being something that like Black Widow is doing by herself. I don't remember exactly what the criticisms were. Mm-hmm. I don't know. All I know is family dynamic amazing. David Harbour and Florence Pugh are hilarious. I love the personal story, like especially. I feel like her narrative of where she came from and the kind of lifestyle that she grew up under. Mm-hmm. Is so compelling to me in all the movies where they talk about it. Because they address it kind of in Avengers. Where's the first movie where they like go to Hawkeye's house? What's that
Age
one?
of Ultron.
Age of Ultron? Yeah. She talks about it a bit there. Mm-hmm. Like, I just think that's so interesting to me. Like, such an interesting backstory of like this spy training school thing. And they like, you know, she can't have kids. And she's like fully like under this kind of... like even in the final scene, like the scent of that guy, like they have a physical reaction. They can't fight him or things like that.
Very nasty.
Like just so crazy. And I love it. Uh-huh. And I just love her style of combat too. Like she doesn't have powers. And that's the thing. I know earlier I was saying how I love the stuff where it's like interesting powers. Yeah. But of any of the people that are kind of just, oh, we're just going to fight like and do combat. She's my favorite one to watch. And so the movie, I just love it. It's so good to me. And I also I like Thor Ragnarok, but I'm also not as crazy about it as some other people are. Like, I think it's funny and like, oh yeah, it's kind of goofy, ha ha ha, whatever. I don't know. Like, I just, the Hulk kind of annoys me in that movie. Cause I like Mark Ruffalo, and I feel like he's not really, like, it's kind of just mainly the Hulk, right? In that one, well, right? You don't really see Mark Ruffalo much.
I mean, he is the Hulk, but yeah,
no, right.
It is more of that, you know. It's him, and then he like wakes up like, oh wait, I've been gone for years.
Yeah. And I like the Rock dude and the Bug dude.
Oh, Korg,
love Korg.
Yeah, they're fun.
Hey, the name's Korg. This is my friend Meek.
Yeah. The planet they were on, I don't know. Like, I just wasn't really crazy about it. Who's like the bad guy in that one?
Kate Blanchett.
Hella, yeah.
Hella.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah,
I
don't
forgot
forget
she
that.
was in that movie.
No, yeah. I mean, they're not really against, like, in the beginning, she, like, sets them off on the adventure, and then they have to confront her at the end. So it's not like she's the direct antagonist.
I think so much of it in my head is
the Grandmaster,
them being
though,
on that planet.
The Grandmaster is them on the planet with, what's his face?
He's
Jeff
annoying
Goldblum.
to me.
Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah. I'm not crazy about him. But I do like Hela and that thing. Again, I like the movie, but I love Black Widow. A lot of people that's like mid tier, low tier. I love it.
Yeah,
I'm a huge fan.
Yeah.
So I choose Black Widow.
Yeah.
Personally. And I feel like I know which one is going to win because I know what Michael thinks.
Yeah, let's go to Michael, tiebreaker.
You know what I think? What does that mean?
Like, I know what you're going to pick.
I'll admit I was on the fence because I did really like Black Panther, Black Widow. I did really like Black Widow.
Black Panther, yeah.
But I mean, Ragnarok is the beginning of the Taika Waititi era. It was hilarious and such a huge comeback after Dark World sucked. Black Widow, I did think felt like a bit cookie cutter Cold War movie, but still very good family elements, and I still really liked it. But I just thought Ragnarok was so different that I really liked it. So I'm gonna have to push Ragnarok.
Yeah.
So
I'm remembering now, people weren't crazy, but they thought Taskmaster was like not done well in Black Widow.
Yeah, I thought because her like Taskmaster's deal is that she can like memorize the Avengers, like she copies their moves, but that wasn't really like shown a lot. I feel like
it kind of was in parts, kind of, but.
I am partial to comedies, though. Whatever. I am partial to comedies, so that'll definitely like it was a comedy that worked in the MCU, and clearly, as we get on, there are other comedies that don't work in the MCU. So, anyway, alrighty, next mashup: Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings versus Captain America: Civil War.
All right, I'm curious to see what you.
Well,
think
you
first.
feel like you already knew what you were gonna say.
I did,
so.
yeah. It's Shang-Chi for me. Again.
Oh, that's not what I thought you were going to say.
Take. I know people love Civil War, but that was actually one of the first Marvel movies where I was like, okay, this is getting a little samey, and I didn't love that.
Interesting.
Yeah. I'm sure you're a Civil War.
So why? So is it more because you're not as crazy about Civil War, or because you love Shang-Chi?
It's not even that I really enjoyed Shang-Chi. I thought it was like refreshing, and I thought that like honestly going into Shang-Chi, I was like, this is like all I need for this to be like to enjoy this is for the combat to be amazing, and the combat was amazing. It's that like Jackie Chan style, like very like balletic, very like pleasing. Yeah. And I loved that. I thought like the family elements were really good, and it's not like one of my favorite necessarily Marvel movies, but like for me, Civil War, again, I enjoyed it, but that was the point where I started to notice like the MCU getting kind of samey, and it didn't stick out to me as much as like Winter Soldier or something like that.
Okay, interesting.
Because you're probably a Civil War.
Yeah, so I really, really like Civil War. And although, the whole like... Personally, I felt like the reason that they were arguing a little bit was like kind of dumb. Because
the Accords?
The Accords, right. So it was like Tony Stark was like, we should sign this. And Captain America was like, no. Yeah. Them signing it again would be like they can't just act as their own entity, basically.
Yeah. They're kind of like a police force of the world, kind of.
But they can't just like go by their own discretion.
Right. They have to be like sent off. Yeah.
Yes. And they thought that, and Captain America was like, that defeats the purpose of like what we're all about. Right.
Yeah. Like I think, he was just like, it's been a while. It's kind of been a while since I've seen it.
Right.
Yeah. You thought that was kind of dumb though.
I just thought that the like, I don't know, the creation of that beef. Like, I guess I kind of get it. Like, it was that whole thing of, like, people have been hurt in, like, these battles that they've been in and stuff like that. But whether you go to the battle or someone sends you to the battle, there's destruction either way. Like, I don't know. Like, it just kind of feels, like, semantical a little bit. Okay. And also, like, if they didn't go fight Ultron, the world would have been... I don't know. Yeah. But also, Tony Stark created Ultron, so really, he's the... I don't know. I think Tony Stark is an arrogant villain in that movie. I don't know, but
one critique that a lot of people had was the entirety of Captain America's journey has just been, the government. Like, I don't trust the government and their plans, so it's a little appropriate that he's on their side. However,
Right.
Iron Man being on the opposite side when he also was, anti the war machine of America
Right.
and stuff like that. So him flip-flopping just because of a little guilt trip about Ultron, I guess was kind of some people calling not
Yeah.
what is it? What am I trying to say? What's the word?
Like inconsistent?
Now,
Hypocritical.
all
Okay.
that being said,
Yes.
all of them coming together and fighting each other, and the introduction of Spider-Man, and the introduction
So
of
good.
Black Panther, and
That's a great arc, actually. The Black Panther arc in that movie.
and yeah, them fighting. I just, it's just. I mean,
That's a great
It just
sequence.
works.
Yeah.
And then the ending too. Again, though, Tony Stark is just so dumb to me in that movie. I'm like, dude, like, you could not have walked into this trap any more, like, than you did.
They do. He
And
does.
then-
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, Bucky killed your dad, but guess what? That was a brainwashed Bucky by, like, this secret, like, government program that was
Yeah.
happening. And you're trying to side with government. I was like, you could not fall in this trap more. Seriously. So I guess maybe I say I was liking Civil War, but now I'm like,
You're talking about it.
this is kind of like dumb though to me. Even though it's an exciting
Hot take.
watch, I'm like, yeah. What was the other movie that was against Shang-Chi? Maybe I'm with you. I don't know. I feel like I just talked myself out of liking Civil War that much.
A lot of people consider Civil War just the action-packed movie, like the set pieces.
And it
mattered
was
more than
great,
the
and that's
movie.
why I loved it when I watched it in the theater. But it really is such like a lame reason for them to split. And then I feel like the way they come back together is kind of just like, oh, the world needs us, and it's like, I don't know, like I don't remember there being some like heartfelt resolution. Was there?
Well, because Tony Stark he's not even, I think you're talking about Infinity War, right?
Sure.
And Tony Stark's not even like on Earth at the time. So it's kind of just the other Avengers. So I think we're also like,
Right.
we didn't even like,
Really care.
yeah. They were like, all right, obviously the world's in danger, like come back, basically.
Well, I mean, he comes to in the Avengers compound in Endgame. Like that was his first real face to face with Captain America, and he's like swinging at him. He's like, "What do you care? You don't."
Yeah. Still pissed off. It's
Still,
been like
yeah.
years. Yeah.
And he almost died.
Yeah, I just thought that
Yeah.
the beef was kind of a little bit lame.
You're not with the beef,
Like, and they
yeah.
were clearly framing Bucky, and I mean, Zemo's amazing. I will say I love Zemo. Like, and I like his moments in the movie and his villainy thing he's doing behind the scenes and the Bucky storyline. Tony Stark just got on my nerves. Like,
Well, Shang-Chi.
Is it Shang-Chi?
yeah, like you were saying, I mean, the fighting, I think, too. I grew up watching Ip Man a lot. Like, that was one of my favorite movies. The combat isn't to that level to me, the fighting. But it is kind of that, like, Jackie Chan style, the, like you were saying, a very different kind of combat than what we were used to seeing in the MCU.
Yeah.
And I think it was a lot more exciting watching that. I thought the rings were super interesting.
Rings are cool, yeah.
And then the characters I thought were great. The Mandarin guy.
The
real
right?
Mandarin.
The real Mandarin.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, he's so funny. The
Wait,
Trevor
the fake
Slattery?
one?
No,
He's
no,
talking
yeah,
about Trevor
the fake
Slattery.
one.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
talking
yeah.
about the fake
Trevor
one.
Slattery,
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I love him so much.
I'm really glad they brought him back.
That was so good.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I did really like that movie a lot.
So is it Shang-Chi for you?
Yeah. I'm with you. I'm with
All
you.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alrighty, we made it.
Yeah.
Shang-Chi. Next up, Eternals versus Spider-Man: Homecoming.
I didn't see Eternals.
Dang, why did this have to be the one that Eternals is going up against? My hot take is that I really like Eternals.
Okay.
Like, I think every criticism I've heard about it, I'm like, what are you even talking about, dude? This movie was so good.
Okay.
I loved all the characters. I thought the fight scenes were so good. I liked Icarus as like kind of the villain in the end. again, the powers. Like, I just love. I just feel like it was again things that we hadn't seen. Like Cersei, her thing is that she can touch something and turn it into a different material.
Is Cersei Gemma Chan? She's
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So like, for example, there's a part where there's a bus driving into them, and she touches it, and it turns into rose petals.
Okay.
Or cool, like so she can just manipulate elements of things and materials, and they use it in such interesting ways. And then there's the way they use super speed in the movie too is so good.
Makari was awesome.
Yeah, so awesome. Oh yeah, Faustus, played by Brian Tyree Henry, who I love so much.
He's great, yeah.
He's like this tech kind of person, but not just like tech, like guy in the chair tech. Like him fighting is also so awesome because he's just using this crazy equipment and stuff he's been building. But yeah, like their storyline of like what they're doing on Earth, who they really are, what their mission is. As you kind of get to understand all of that and know it, I think the position the characters find themselves in is so interesting. And how they decide what they're going to do. Because basically there's a Titan that's like being born inside the center of the Earth, and he's basically getting birthed, and it's going to destroy the world. And then he's going to create many new worlds because that's what Titans do. Right? Is it
Celestials.
Celestials.
Okay.
And so I will say the one part that's a little bit weak is they're like, no, but we have to save Earth. Like, these people are different. They're special, like, than the other planets we've been to. And they don't really get into why. Like, they don't really fully get into that. I think you kind of see it a little bit. But, like, not really.
What do you think? Do you think it's our food, maybe? Incredible food. Tacos.
I feel like they really, if they wanted to go that route and really dive into that, they could have made such a heartfelt movie, I think.
That makes a lot of sense, yeah.
They didn't really go there. And so I think that was the one thing holding it back. But I still really enjoyed the movie. I think it's the worst rated movie MCU on Rotten Tomatoes.
It might be Quantumania now, actually.
No, I think it's still Eternals,
Oh, really?
Which is so ridiculous to me. That's so insane.
Still, oh no. Quantumania is 45, Eternal's 47, but for some reason they have it lower.
That's also ridiculous because, like I said earlier, Quantumania is a good movie. So,
but yeah, I think as far as them saving the planet, I think it had more to do with some of them realizing, wait, our brains have been erased. Like, who are these Celestials? Like, essentially the gaslight storyline,
right? Kind of.
Then it mattered more than the motivation.
Yeah, and the whole thing. I'm trying to remember exactly what were the other things called that they fought against, like honor.
Oh yeah, those it turns out it's them, like it's the bad versions of their failed creations or whatever.
Well, but they're also called. Just like pawns in the system of the Celestials, basically, which I thought was interesting. But it was an awesome. Oh yeah, and was
Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Deviants. It was Deviants.
No, yeah. What was who did was it Angelina Jolie?
Angelina Jolie, yeah. Her storyline of like...
Her character was awesome.
It
was so good.
I thought you were going to say her character was hot. Like, I thought that's what you were going for. I was like, all right.
No, Eternals was so good. But Spider-Man Homecoming is my favorite Spider-Man movie...
Of all time.
In the MCU.
Oh, okay.
It was my favorite of all time until Into Spider-Verse. But... that is top 5 MCU for me, Spider-Man Homecoming. I love it so much. So
it's I think Far From Home is maybe the best one in the MCU. That's my personal favorite, actually. But I still love Homecoming. You don't like? I've heard people like hate Far From Home.
Oh, I don't hate it. I definitely don't hate it. Tom Holland's just so good. Ned is so good.
Yeah.
Zendaya can do no wrong. And yeah, I feel like he looks young enough to be in high school.
Yeah.
Which the other two Spider-Men before him did not.
Especially Tobey Maguire, I feel like.
Yeah, and I just feel like he plays both so well. And he's so, yeah. Spider-Man Homecoming is so good. I just had to talk about Eternals because I just can't stand the disrespect. But I do like Homecoming better, for sure.
I also love the Druig Makari love relationship.
It's so good. It's a good movie.
Sprite, her storyline of like siding with him.
Yeah, well, and then that she's in the body of like a kid and she doesn't age. You know, that whole thing. That's heartbreaking. You know.
Oh, that's not fun. Okay,
I want to be a real boy.
No, like because she like wants to be in love and like have a life with someone, but she can't because she looks 13.
Oh.
So and then what does she get at the end of the movie?
That does sound sad.
She gets the gift of humanity.
Gets
to be 30.
Person.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
To be 30.
The dream.
13 going on 30. Like it's right?
That's the real title of the movie.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. Well, we spent enough time on that one for sure.
Yeah. Homecoming.
Awesome. All righty. Next up on the list, we have Thor, the first one, versus Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
Dude, Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is absolutely incredible. Thor, I don't care about you. That's
Well, you haven't seen Thor. You haven't seen the first Thor.
Look, Thor, I've actually seen parts of. The Dark World I just didn't see. I saw parts of Thor, and no, for some reason I feel like I've just seen the part in like the parking garage. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, the parking garage scene. Garage Thor. Yeah.
I feel like I've seen that like 7 times, but I haven't seen the movie. I don't know why I feel like my image of the movie is that parking garage scene.
I don't even know what you're talking.
Oh, you don't?
Parking garage.
Oh, you were just making that up?
I was just
you're just going along with what I was talking about. They're in a parking garage at some point for like 15 minutes, it feels like. I don't know. Maybe I'm totally making that up. But yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy 3, I think is the best MCU movie post Endgame.
Wow.
It's incredible. Super emotional. Great action. Again, I think the best movies outside of the Avengers movies, like where they're all together, are the Guardians movies. They're just the most likable group of characters. And Rocket's backstory, so heartbreaking. Where all of the characters get to go. Nebula's storyline in the movie is so great. I love where Star-Lord and Gamora end the movie. Really interesting villain. Just so good.
I didn't see it.
Yeah, and Thor's kind of whatever. I feel like you don't need to see Guardians to know that it's better than Thor. Probably.
I heard it.
If you've seen the other 2 Guardians movies and you've seen the other Thor movies, you probably know which one is better.
I heard that Guardians 3 was really good. I'm gonna go with Thor because I haven't seen seen it. Like
Michael picked the right one. that's
while I do appreciate the first Thor movie, Guardians 3 made me cry 3 times in the theater, and I was in the 40X theater when I saw it, so I was shaking, getting spat on every time anything happened. Like I'm eating popcorn, and then there's just water splashing, like the guts of an alien are splashing in my popcorn. Anyway, all that, and I still cried from how like visceral and how like beautiful Rocket's storyline was. So yeah, it's gonna be Guardians. Cool. Yeah.
Yeah. R.I.P. Teefs, man.
R.I.P. Teefs.
Wish I knew who that was.
Yep. Catch it on Disney Plus. All right. Next up, Captain Marvel versus Black Panther: Wakanda Forever.
So I watched half of Wakanda Forever. I think it's probably Captain Marvel for me. I know a lot of people love Wakanda Forever. Again, I didn't finish it, so I don't know. But I found some of the jokes. Again, I should probably state that I'm kind of off the MCU for now. Like, I've gotten kind of burned out. I think I've told you this. And I think part of, like, I was just kind of like, I was kind of enjoying it, but I was kind of finding some of the jokes a little like, I don't know if tame is the right word, but I just didn't find them super funny. And, like, I found some of the action scenes, like, pretty similar to like a lot of the stuff we've seen before, and I was just like not super interested to go back. Captain Marvel is a little similar in that it's like not top tier Marvel, but I still enjoyed it and I finished it. So yeah, that's me.
Yeah. I will also say I think Captain Marvel gets a lot of hate unnecessarily. Like I enjoyed it too. Wakanda Forever to me, I think is the best. Well, actually, Guardians 3 was really good. I think it's definitely one of the best acted movies in the MCU, like top 3 in terms of acting alone. Angela Bassett was incredible. Letitia Wright was incredible. Who plays Lupita Nyong'o, incredible. I mean, yeah, the woman at the core of the movie were just like, seriously, I was so blown away by the level of acting in the movie. The part for me where it really fell off, as I thought the climax was super underwhelming. Like the final fight, so the part you didn't see, like, was really
meh.
It was pretty meh to me, which is disappointing. And I think I was talking to someone and they were saying that like it was a COVID movie kind of, and so I think you see the effects of that at the end of the movie, because
it's just people with masks.
Two nations being at war with one another, there's really not a lot of people involved.
No, right. Let's get a big boat and fight on the roof of the boat. Like it wasn't much of a set
10
piece.
to 15 people, yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't. I thought it was a little underwhelming, but again, the acting was so great. I think dealing with the loss of T'Challa, obviously the loss of Chadwick Boseman, I thought it was handled so well in the film. It was really impactful. Angela Bassett's character, like just what's the name of her character? Letitia Wright's character.
Makia?
Is that her name?
Lupita Nyong'o's character?
No.
Shuri.
Letitia Wright.
Oh, Shuri. Yeah.
Yeah, Shuri, like what her character has to go through, and I think she just nails it in the movie. Like, I think it's just what's this going up against? Captain Marvel. Yeah, it's just so much more of an emotional movie.
I can see that,
and I think that alone for me just makes it better than Captain Marvel. Who, like Captain Marvel, the character is a really stoic one. And it's interesting because Brie Larson, as an actress, I think
she's got a range.
Has so much range.
Yeah,
is really great. Room is one of my favorite movies. She's incredible. And as Captain Marvel, I think she's kind of just supposed to be playing this like dull character, honestly. And it's just kind of.
She's really good at it.
Well, sure. I mean, I just don't know if the writing was that strong for the character. Maybe like because she was just kind of.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I enjoyed the movie. I think it gets, like, too much hate.
Yeah.
But I definitely think Wakanda Forever is better. So I guess Michael has to tie break.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. What? Oh, I didn't realize I had a tie break.
Yeah,
I would say Wakanda Forever. I mean, Captain Marvel is good. I love especially the Kevin Smith Stan Lee cameo in there. That Stan Lee's first cameo in a movie was in a Kevin Smith movie, and he's reading the script when he has his little
Mallrats. Yeah.
It's the first post Stan Lee cutscene as well.
That's right.
After he died. Even when I watched Captain Marvel, it felt rushed. The movie felt rushed, which apparently it was. They apparently produced the entire movie after she filmed all of her Infinity War stuff.
Wow.
And it came out before Infinity War, so that'll tell you how rushed they were. But you know, the Marvel schedule. But I did still like it. And what's his name? The villain.
Jude Law.
Jude Law, yeah. Jude Law, and that storyline I thought was good. And setting up Rambo, obviously. I loved her character. All right, so Wakanda Forever it is. Next up, we kind of got to speed roll through these, but these are going to be some dicey ones. Far From Home versus Age of Ultron.
It's Far From Home. I told you it's my favorite Tom Holland movie.
Yeah, I say Age of Ultron. I think Far From Home, like, and again, I like it because it's Spider-Man, and I like Spider-Man. Like, even people, I think, like Spider-Man 3 with that Tobey Maguire movie gets a lot of hate too. I loved that one as a kid. I don't know, but like Spider-Man movies to me are just gonna be. It's pretty. You have to try to make a bad Spider-Man movie. I think.
Okay. For you to not like it.
And I think for me that one, like I really like Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. So I think even just him not being in New York, like and him kind of traveling all over.
That's what I liked about it, actually.
Yeah, that to me, I don't know. Like that's not where the appeal of the character is to me, kind of. And what's the actor's name? The villain.
Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah. Thank you.
Shout out to Taylor Swift fans.
Shout out to the almost Spider-Man himself, Jake Gyllenhaal.
His character, like, as a villain, I mean, I don't know. He was cool, I guess. I don't know. Like, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I think about the other Spider-Man films, and I like No Way Home and Homecoming better than Far From Home.
Yeah, I'm for Far From Home. I think the love like story in that is like so cute. Like, and someone pointed this out. Like, he doesn't like her he doesn't like her in spite of her being awkward. He likes her because she's awkward, and they're just like two little like adorable nerds.
Oh my
like,
gosh, he likes her because she's awkward. Now I have to pick Far From Home. Wow.
Zendaya can do no wrong.
Yeah, no, I think their love story is very, very cute. Like the fact that he has to that bit where they go to they're gonna sit in the opera together, and he's like, I gotta go, like I gotta go be Spider-Man. Like heartbreaking, not that bad, but like it's like one of those moments. I think Mysterio is such an interesting like he's not going up against brute force because like obviously like he can't really do that against Spider-Man. It's more of like the illusion and like Spider-Man has to fight the drones, and I just thought that was like a little different. I love all the comedy in it. It's all amazing. The goofy Ned and Betty Brant like little love story is hilarious to me. I love it that they took it out of New York and they like took it to different places. I thought that was cool. I just think it's a great movie.
Yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed it because it's Spider-Man again. Avengers Ultron, I like more than the first Avengers movie.
Wow.
That's a hot take.
And
Yeah.
I think the opening of it is so great.
Opening's great.
I love like the party scene with like lifting the hammer and
That's
everything
great,
is
yeah.
so great. I love Wanda so much. So the introduction of her and Quicksilver, I really like. And I think the storyline with Sokovia and kind of the impact, like how that gives us Zemo, the Sokovia Accord thing, even though I think that whole Iron Man just annoys me. But even like WandaVision, kind of the rippling effects of like just where her and her brother come from. And I think that movie had so much impact on like how the rest of the MCU like movies played out and things like that. I feel like just to me like the fighting in Sokovia was just so much. I enjoyed a lot more than like the New York fight in the first Avengers movie, for example. And
Interesting, because I feel like the first one's more iconic. I mean, not that means you would like it more, but yeah.
But again, gosh, Wanda. I don't know. Like I just enjoy. And then you get Vision, which is super. I think. Yeah, some of those characters and just where they kind of end off, how much of an impact that just has on like their team dynamic. Again, I think the impact of the movie alone made it really interesting to me. And for me, like Far From Home kind of being like the middle child of the Spider-Man MCU trilogy to me, where I'm not so crazy about it. I just like Ultron better, I think.
What's it for you, Michael?
Alrighty. This one is probably the toughest one for me, I think, of this list. And it's a smidge to Ultron, because as much as I like the Spider-Man movies, dang it, Far From Home is my least favorite of the trilogy.
Yeah.
And Ultron, I think it definitely got way more hate than it should have. Like I feel like people just thought it was too busy and too like to me it was. I will say it was very Disney. It was the first Disney feeling Marvel movie. Very like, I don't know, just big budget, a lot of effects and very busy. I did love the Ultron character. I thought they don't. I feel like they downplay how big a role he had. I think. But
Tony Stark, your least favorite character in Civil War.
Yeah, like that dude. Like one woman came up to him after a show and was like, "My son was studying abroad in Sokovia." Like, and it's
like Habitat for Humanity.
Listen, I'm sorry for your loss. Like, Tony, why is that changing your whole like perspective on life? Like, yeah, people died. Yeah, you didn't realize. Like, I don't know. He
was already feeling guilty.
We don't need to stay on that.
Yeah, I guess we don't have to.
But I feel like kind of bad, but also it's kind of funny to me that your like favorite Spider-Man movie just lost in the first round.
In the first round.
Wow.
Yeah.
Don't gotta soak it
Crazy.
in.
Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, just next up, Infinity War versus Iron Man 3.
Okay, I'm gonna say Infinity War, but I would like to.
Are you actually struggling here?
I am not. I'm the same way you are with like Black Widow and a couple others. I'm not here for the Iron Man 3 hate. I think Iron
Wow.
Man 3 is so good.
Trevor Slattery.
Trevor Slattery is amazing. I think it is okay. Also, I'm a fan of Shane Black, who wrote and directed this movie. He
Huge fan of his. I'm a huge fan.
He made a movie called Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, which is amazing. He made a movie
With
called
RDJ.
with RDJ before he was Iron Man. He made a movie called The Nice Guys, which is amazing.
So
Right,
good.
and then he made a movie called Iron Man 3, which is fine. Like,
It is. I love throwing on Iron Man 3. It is so much fun. I think it is so funny. Like the dynamic between Robert Downey Jr. and the kid. I get why you wouldn't like the kid, but I think it is so
I like the
funny.
kid.
Oh, you do?
Dakota Goyo, right? Isn't that who plays him?
I'm not sure, but
Like, yeah.
and then him and Rhodey, their dynamic is amazing. It's such a good movie to me.
you know, reflecting more on us talking about these Iron Man movies, he's a much more unlikable character to me than I remembered him being. And I would never, I don't think I'd ever throw on Iron Man 2 or 3. Like, and it's not even that I don't like it, really. It's just kind of like, okay, Iron Man 3. Like, what? I don't
Just
know.
whatever.
It's just what the villain to me, like, I never really got his deal. Like, oh, I tried speaking to you on a roof one night and
That's
you didn't
dumb.
care
That's
about
dumb.
me. Like,
Yeah.
so I'm gonna kidnap your wife. Like, I don't even know. Like,
But he was a nerd at the time.
Yeah.
That was a lot for him.
I just, I don't know. Like, and the whole, I never understood the whole, like, I don't really understand where his powers came from with that whole, like, red person
Extremis.
thing where they're like,
Extremis.
yeah, I don't know. I just don't.
You just don't like
I
it.
just don't really get that thing. But the fight on the boat was kind of cool, I guess. I just didn't really. I don't know.
It's Infinity War.
Yeah, like
it's
Infinity War is
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I just wanted to share before it gets knocked out.
No, I
love Iron
understand.
Man
You had
3.
to to share your love. You
Yeah.
had to give it some love. I've been doing that. But yeah, Infinity War. It's like top 3. So satisfying. So like heartbreaking, the loss at the end. Although it is like one of those things too where it's like you kind of feel cheated because you know that somehow everything's going to work out and they're all going to come back, you know, which is kind of
I can see that. Yeah.
like in some ways it feels a little bit stakeless, but still like watching what happened to Vision and just seeing how powerless they all feel, like, and feeling like they lose, you know, at the end of it.
To say
it's a
stakeless
satisfying
when the villain wins, like it's very rare for a movie where the villain wins.
Yeah.
I see what he's saying though.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Stakeless
like, where it's
because
like,
there's a part 2. Because you know,
Yeah,
there's
you
a part
know there's a
right.
part 2. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. All right, cool. Infinity War. We should really, we
Yep,
should really
all
speed
right.
it up.
And this next one, this might be contentious. 2 of the funnier sequels to movies: Thor: Love and Thunder versus Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
I didn't see Thor: Love and
Thor:
Thunder.
Love and Thunder, the funnier sequels to movies?
Well, as in trying to be comedies, I feel like Guardians
It's trying
personally,
to be and being funnier are two different
no.
things.
Yeah, I'm saying both of them tried to be.
Okay.
That's my whole comment.
Okay.
Because I felt like Guardians 2 was definitely leaning more into the funny, and some people didn't like it for that. But this is you guys. Yeah. Talk
It's
about
Guardians
it.
too.
Yeah, and Guardians 2 is my least favorite Guardians movie. Some people, it's like their favorite MCU movie. They think that's the best
wow.
one. I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's kind of weird. But Thor: Love and Thunder, I thought right after I watched it, I was like, okay, that wasn't so bad, but I didn't really like that. And anytime I think about it, I'm like, that's kind of unbearable. I don't want to watch it again. Like some of the gags in it, you haven't seen it, right?
No.
There's like this screaming goat gag. By the second time, I'm already so tired of it. The only good part of the movie to me was Christian Bale as the villain. I thought he was great. And I feel so bad because the rest of the movie, like Natalie Portman's character, right? It's Natalie Portman.
Yeah, that's her name.
Yeah, I'm correct. Sorry, I just get names wrong sometimes. Her character has cancer, and so she's dealing with that the whole time. But it'll just be like, oh, I'm kind of sad because I'm dealing with cancer. And then it's like dumb Thor joke. Screaming goat. Like, it's just so like
just inappropriate.
unserious and just like can't make up its mind about what movie it wants to be. And then at the end, this like God Slayer, right? He wants to kill all these gods because they like his people were wiped out. He was trying to save his daughter and he met a god and he basically laughed in his face and was like, I'm not going to help you. Like this god that he had worshipped and dedicated his life to. And so his daughter died. Like, and so now he's going to kill all gods. Right. And so like very compelling, like a lot of strong emotions attached to why you want to be a villain and kill all these gods. And then they get to the movie and then Thor's just like, but like, what about love? Basically.
And thunder.
It's like, but what about being a good person? Like, and basically is what, and the guy's like, you're right. Like, and then decides to not like kill all gods, basically. When he literally had like, I don't know if it was a wish thing, like, or what it was. Like,
it was pretty much
he got one like wish and he could wish for anything. And he decides to wish his daughter back to life. And she gets to watch him die, basically. It's kind of traumatic for the daughter, but
yeah, I'd wish to live. Actually,
no, literally though. At the end of the movie, it's like Thor's like, "But what if you chose love?" And the villain of the whole movie was like, "Oh yeah, I can do that." It was so I hated that. It was awful, actually.
Yeah.
So Guardians
2. All right, let's keep it chugging.
Alrighty, that's the end of round 1. Yeah. So as we speed run through
goodness.
these, the first mashup is of this next round is Captain America versus Iron Man.
It's First Avenger for me.
I agree. I'm realizing I don't like Iron Man that much. So
this podcast,
I've got to go with the First Avenger.
Yeah. All right.
Alrighty, we're speeding through it.
Yeah.
Next up, Winter Soldier versus Black Panther.
It's Winter Soldier. Like I said, one of my favorite movies ever. So like just awesome action, like just amazing action. It is nostalgic for me. It's I think the idea that like Captain America is wanted by S.H.I.E.L.D. so interesting, and he's like on the run. It's like I'd have to think about like why exactly like I love this movie, but it's just like the espionage and like the just all so good, so much fun. Like them discovering the stuff about S.H.I.E.L.D. and how it's been compromised, how Hydra's inside of it. Captain America is kind of like not sure his kind of like moral quandary with S.H.I.E.L.D. because it's like this weird like he's like when I was in World War II like everything was simple and now it's like everything's really complicated and they're spying on people and stuff like that. I thought that was interesting. The action is just amazing. Captain America fight's amazing. It's just an amazing movie. I use it amazing a lot.
I will say I haven't rewatched this one a whole lot. So I'm trying to even like you going through that definitely helped me remember it a little bit more. I've definitely seen Black Panther more than I've seen The Winter Soldier, I think. And I never understood like once I started getting into like listening to other people talk about Marvel and their takes, I was kind of surprised that this movie was unanimously for people like a top 3 Marvel movie.
Winter Soldier.
And so many people it was their favorite one. I just never really got that.
So it's Black Panther for you?
I don't know. This is kind of a hard one for me because I do like Winter Soldier and for the reasons you said. But those to me don't make it like the best Marvel movie. Honestly, I think I choose Black Panther.
Okay.
I think I just like that world and those characters more, probably.
Michael?
Oh, well, this is where my hot take comes in. Winter Soldier, I missed. Like, I watched every single MCU movie and then just missed Winter Soldier. Had to rewatch it years later. And I'll just say I didn't hit as hard, I don't think, as like a kind of like, I don't know, just moody spy thriller. Like, the spy thriller aspect was kind of interesting, but then I think it was just like pulling itself a little too much. Whereas Black Panther, cultural phenomenon, saw
Yeah.
it 4 times opening weekend. Thank you, MoviePass.
Yeah.
MoviePass paying for all my tickets. I wouldn't even say that Black Panther's a perfect movie. Like even the visual effects, I think, are just lackluster for that movie. But the soundtrack, the characters, the lore of Wakanda itself, it was just I think for me that's the winner.
Wow, people are gonna hate us.
My heart is
Panther
broken
moves
right
on.
now.
Yeah.
My heart is
We're
broken.
just like
right
dumping
now.
on your favorite movies right now.
Literally, yeah.
I mean, that's our favorite movies, right? All right,
I'm with you, comment section.
We'll see. Maybe the comments like Black Panther.
Yeah,
Alrighty. Next up, Endgame versus Guardians of the Galaxy.
It's Endgame for me.
I'm not gonna lie. Big movies where everyone comes together and everything happens don't hit as much for me as like a smaller. I don't know, something about just like a more contained story for me really does it sometimes.
Yeah.
When you don't have so many moving parts.
I can see that, yeah.
And I'm not crazy about time travel stories either.
I'm kind of in the same boat as you, yeah.
So that to me, with Endgame, gosh, how do I feel? I don't know, because Guardians is definitely one of my favorite Marvel movies for sure. And it's maybe the Marvel movie I've seen the most, I think, would be Guardians of the Galaxy. So, this is so hard. But honestly, I feel like the only thing stopping me from saying Guardians of the Galaxy and not Endgame is that I feel like people are going to think I'm wrong. So I'm just going to go with what I feel, and I'm going to say Guardians of the Galaxy.
Okay, Michael?
Alrighty. I do really like the Guardians of the Galaxy movie, but in my mind, Endgame is kind of a continuation of Guardians just because of the Gamora storyline kind of being important. And admittedly, not all the Guardians, but still like felt spiritually part of that universe just because he was more connected to him and Nebula. And yeah, I'm just gonna say Endgame because I think Guardians is great, but Endgame was it was big.
That's the Winter Soldier.
Very well done. That's the Winter Soldier.
All right. I mean, these are both two of the best
section.
MCU movies. You know?
No, yeah, they're both amazing. Yeah.
I don't think anyone's mad at the tough choice. Alrighty, next up, Avengers versus No Way Home.
Ooh.
This is easy for me. No Way Home.
Is it?
Yeah, I think No Way Home for me is. And it's interesting because I say like the get together movies aren't as big to me. But when it's like my whole childhood with the Spider-Man get together,
yeah,
like all of the moments, like just the moment on the statue when they're just fighting all the classic villains, and like when Andrew Garfield saves Zendaya, you know, it's just all Willem Dafoe. You know, what needs to be said?
Yeah,
it just
nothing.
Yeah, it's definitely better to me.
Yeah, I think this is a tough one for me because I don't enjoy Avengers as much as I used to.
And No Way Home is pretty cornball at times.
Yeah. I think it's Avengers. Michael.
Wow. It's happening. This is a lot of these tiebreakers.
Yeah.
We're not really like reveling in the battles of these, but yikes. Avengers, I think, was just these were both elevated by opening night, opening weekend, hype train on both of these movies. It's just a matter of, are you a bigger fan of Spider-Man or the Avengers? So, and honestly, it might be recency bias, but I feel like Avengers did stall a bit as a movie, but I still think, as far as like, it redefined what a mashup movie could be.
Yeah.
People coming together. And I think No Way Home profited off of that. So I'm going to say No Way Home.
Yes.
Oh, he's saying No Way Home.
Yes.
It looked like I was going the other way.
Yeah, it did. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Still a good movie.
They're both good.
Yeah.
No one's going to be mad. Hopefully.
I feel like people are going to be mad about
that's
that
over-promising.
I'm mad
You know
that
what?
Black
I'm
Widow's
over-promising.
still not in the conversation, honestly.
Alrighty, well, next up, Ragnarok versus Shang-Chi.
Shang-Chi.
Yeah.
Wow, so quick.
Yeah, sorry. Ragnarok, I just don't.
I don't love it as much as other people do. Yeah.
I just
It's
don't.
good, but yeah, Shang-Chi.
And that's why I'm the tiebreaker. Alrighty, next up is Homecoming versus Guardians 3.
Haven't seen Guardians 3.
That's a
so.
toughie.
This one
That's a
hurts
toughie.
me. Oh, this is painful.
I'm saying Homecoming because I haven't seen Guardians
Yeah.
3.
Oh my gosh.
Now, will you like are you gonna let him decide this because he's seen both, or will you fight for Homecoming? Well, he's thinking.
I'll just have you be a tiebreaker. I don't know, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh man. Because Homecoming is so good, you know.
Yeah.
But Guardians 3 is so good, you know. So that's the problem I'm
Yeah.
having right now. Like the Vulture is amazing, and I love that. I feel like there should be more villains that were impacted by the destruction caused by the Avengers.
Yeah.
Like Zemo and the Vulture
Mysterio.
are the two that I can think of.
Mysterio kind of not the destruction, but he's like
Sure.
affected by Tony Stark.
Sure.
Yeah.
And Spider-Man is just so good. But Guardians. Okay, no, I will go. I think Guardians 3, I feel like it was just a much more emotional, touching, like, and for the end of the Guardians as we know it, yeah, it was just such a perfect finale for that. Yeah, I've got to go Guardians 3.
Michael?
That is so hard.
Alrighty, another tiebreaker. This is a toughie.
That's so hard.
This is a toughie, but I'm surprised you actually went with Galaxy 3 because
I am
you're
surprised
such a
also.
sucker for coming of age stories and like
I am.
teen romps and stuff like that.
You're right.
But Guardians 3 did hit that hard.
Yeah.
I think it's better. Homecoming is really, 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 really good, especially with the like, sugar daddy Stark coming in and out of the movie. Like, hey, I give you the suit. Hey, no suit for you.
Yeah.
But I do think Guardians just hit home so hard. Like a perfect finale to that
Guardians
trilogy.
3.
You really got to
You've
see
gotta
it, man.
see it,
Yeah,
yeah.
gotta see it,
Interesting.
man.
I know you're tired of them.
Every
too, but you gotta
round,
see that one.
every
Gotta see
round
it.
is going to keep coming back.
Yeah.
Alrighty, next up, Wakanda Forever versus Age of Ultron.
I mean, I haven't seen Wakanda Forever, so Age of Ultron.
I say Age of Ultron too.
Yep.
I think Wakanda Forever. Again, I think the acting is powerful. And it's great. Like, it just hits so much harder with the loss of Chadwick Boseman.
Yeah.
And I think it's definitely emotional. The action is good for the most part. I think the third act really just falls flat for me. Like, and it really kind of dims the whole movie to me.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I enjoyed the Namor. I think it's like pronounced. I think Namor is like the original name.
Namor. I'm
Yeah. Namor.
I am not love.
Hi, I'm white. So Namor and
Yeah. Yeah, that was cool. I liked his little backstory, but yeah.
His little
His little backstory.
Little
Yeah.
backstory.
You know,
My
like his
little
village. Yeah.
backstory.
His
My
mom's
little
village
backstory.
just got village. Yeah, it was cool. Yeah, Age of Ultron.
yeah.
Age of Ultron. All right. Next up, Infinity War. This is the last of round 2, by the way. Infinity War versus Guardians 2.
Infinity War.
Yeah, Infinity War for me also.
It's an amazing
I think
movie.
Guardians 2, I just don't, like, it's good because it's Guardians and I like it. And I love Mantis. I like that introduction. I just, like, don't, it's not on the level with me as the other two Guardians movies. So,
Yeah. Infinity War.
All righty. Captain America versus Black Panther.
Oh, that's a tough one. Captain America: The First Avenger is like very special to me because like I had more time with it. Like Black Panther came out 2018. Captain America: First Avenger was 2011. So like I literally like kind of grew up with the first Avenger. But Black Panther's amazing too.
I feel like Captain America's had a very easy path so far to get to where it is right now. I mean, maybe not super easy, but what did it go up for against first?
Captain America versus Iron Man 2. I mean,
Yeah.
it was the number one seed.
It's been
Collider had
Captain
it the
America
number
versus
one
Iron
seed.
Man 2, Captain America. This is Civil War, is what's been going on. Captain America versus Iron Man 2, then versus Iron Man.
Yeah.
And then,
Dang.
Yeah, actually.
and now Black Panther. And I think I like Black Panther more as a movie. I think it's more rewatchable to me.
Wow.
I think in general, I think like war movies, like I don't know. I feel like I have to be in a certain mood. Maybe I don't know. I mean, I like his origin story, but I just don't like once they start going to war and they're doing the fighting, and he's like, I don't know.
You don't like World War II montages?
I don't know. I mean, I just like. I think I remember watching it because I rewatched it a couple years ago, and I was like, "Yeah, actually, this is a little better than I thought it was. Like, this is pretty good stuff." Like, but that's how I felt. Like, yeah, this is good. Like, this is a good movie. Black Panther to me is just more exciting. It's more entertaining, I think.
Yeah. So it's Black Panther for you?
Yeah.
I am. Yeah. I think I'm gonna go with the first Avenger because it's more special to me. Like I just love it personally more. It's more special. Again, like, you know, I was kind of that prime age for it. I would have seen it when I was like probably 11 or something like that, and it's just like kind of stuck with me. It is hard though because I love Black Panther. It's so good, but I just think it's probably edged out by.
You just want a white savior. Is what
That's
America.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Michael's got a tie break.
I am once again going to vouch for Black Panther, but I'll be honest, I don't know how much longer Black Panther will last in this.
Right.
It's gonna have a tough lineup, but I think
it's great though.
I think Black Panther for me. Captain America's good, but
I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that. Yeah.
All right. Endgame versus No Way Home.
It's Endgame for me, actually.
Yeah, I think so too, mainly because, gosh, actually, I don't know, because I think the problem I had with watching No Way Home a second time was how flat the moments were, where it was like once they brought in the other Spider-Man, the rest of the movie was you were just supposed to be watching with other people, like gushing over it and reacting, and it was kind of like felt a little bland without other people giving a reaction to it.
That makes sense.
But I kind of feel like Endgame is a little bit similar, especially when they're all coming through in the portals and everything. Like, it's almost like the movie is not complete without all of the cheering and whooping sounds. Like, they planned that that's part of the experience of watching the movie, almost.
I feel like it's different with Endgame. I feel like you can watch it like alone, and you don't have to cheer, and it still works. I feel like Spider-Man doesn't as much. Yeah,
no, I agree that you definitely feel it with Spider-Man. I haven't rewatched Endgame super recently, but I think like that final fight sequence alone is more entertaining than any of the action stuff happening in Spider-Man. Even though I think some of like Spider-Man's personal things he's got going on might be more compelling than like the overall story of Endgame. I mean, even you have the Hawkeye Black Widow moment in there.
That's great.
So many, there are a lot of great moments in Endgame too, even with Nebula things going on. So, I'll go Endgame.
It's Endgame.
Yeah.
Endgame. Alrighty. That locks up that final semifinal. Next up, Shang-Chi versus Guardians 3.
Guardians 3.
Shang-Chi.
It's Guardians 3.
And I'm gonna say Guardians 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
You should really see this movie. It's a
I
really good
guess
movie.
so.
Yeah, you really should.
I'm just surprised Collider had it at 12. Like that's pretty low.
They had First Avenger at number 1. So I mean,
they had some favorites,
you
obviously.
know.
They had some priorities. All right, 2 Avengers movies: Ultron versus Infinity War.
Infinity War.
Yeah. That's.
Wow, that's all right. This is it.
Yeah,
this
should be pretty
semifinal.
breezy. Yeah.
Easy breezy, beautiful. Alrighty, Black Panther versus Endgame.
Black Panther. It's a better movie in my opinion.
Oh, you're serious?
No, I'm serious.
Oh, like I thought you were.
No, I'm serious. Yeah.
Wow. And you think First Avenger's better than both of those? That's kind of wild. To
He
me.
actually wrote this quote Collider article.
He's right. Yeah, you got to check the author of that one because that's kind of wild. Wow.
Talk about hot takes.
You're in Collider's pocket. That's kind of wild.
It's not. It's kind of close, but it is like I would rather watch Black Panther. I think it's more. Ooh. No, I think I'd rather watch Black Panther.
I mean, part of it is that like watching Endgame is an activity. Like that's your
Yeah,
day,
yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Wow.
To actually say you weren't joking.
I know you weren't joking, but then well,
you're
just
thinking
because
about it?
that's what I thought. Well, for him to like be going for First Avenger over Black Panther, I wasn't expecting him to go Black Panther over
Yeah,
Endgame.
that's fair.
I think that's
Yeah.
what surprised me.
I'm
though.
full of surprises. Yeah.
But now I don't actually know, because I'm also thinking like Black Panther just beat No Way Home. Do I think? I mean, Endgame beat No Way Home. Do I think Black Panther is better than No Way Home? I don't know if I do.
You're really breaking down the bracket.
I am
that's the
kind of.
criteria,
Well, now I'm kind of like, is that what I'm saying? If I say that Black Panther is better than Endgame? Yeah, I feel like I've got to go Endgame over Black Panther. I think.
Michael?
Wow. I did not think I would be this necessary this late in the game. Yeah, Black Panther, they're both cultural moments.
Definitely.
Wow. Personally, I think Thanos was a better villain than Killmonger. And that's some people say that's a hot take. I just think Endgame's better. I'm just going to say that. We'll leave it at that.
Endgame moved in.
But it feels weird to be like, I picked the popcorn big blockbuster one.
I mean, they're both.
They're both.
I mean, no, Black Panther is at least a level or two deeper.
It's
I
about
think.
something.
Did
Yeah,
it-
it's more about something. Yeah.
Whereas Endgame was like, we better undo the mistake we made.
Which is still
Anyway.
compelling, but yeah.
Yeah, still good.
Yeah.
Yep. Nah, the last of the wow. Why am I? Actually, yeah, last of the semifinal. Guardians 3 versus Infinity War. It's a tough fight when you haven't seen the
now
movie.
this feels like a
Literally.
proper like these two are like top 4 like MCU movies to me.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I mean, I know you're gonna say Infinity War because you haven't seen Guardians.
I haven't
3.
seen Guardians.
And then Michael's gonna say something about how he has to do a tiebreaker again. I feel like, but
Of course.
I feel like the Guardians trilogy to me is better than the Avengers
Movies.
whatever movies.
That is a hot take. Wow.
Yeah, I think
I don't
think
know how
Guardians
hot
is
that
better.
is. I feel like a lot of
Really?
people think Avengers overall is overhyped. Like it's a little too big and a little too, all over the place.
Yeah, I think Guardians 3, it's fresh for me, and it was so good.
As I said though, Endgame feels like part of Guardians. Like Guardians 3 is different because of Endgame. Like James Gunn was even mad about like not being consulted for the script of like killing off Gamora. He's like, I had plans for her. Now I'm gonna have to change what I got for Guardians 3. So to me, they're connected at least. But this isn't about Endgame. This is about Infinity War,
Yeah.
Right.
which was a little before that. Or no, wait, I'm blanking. Infinity War is Gamora dying. Yeah, so I guess these are connected.
I am going Guardians 3 though.
I'm going Infinity War.
Which one did I cry in more? Like it's a weird metric, but I feel like that
Yeah.
like it just which one I connected with more as a movie? Guardians 3. Even though Infinity War was definitely the popcorn movie. Like the big
People are
They
going to
both were.
flip. Yeah, they both
people-
were. People are going to flip. Just because I feel like there's a lot of Infinity War love out there.
Oh, there absolutely is.
right here. Like all my profile pictures switched to Infinity War stuff after that movie. Yeah. But I like as a better one movie experience,
Guardians 3. Interesting. I really got to watch this movie. Wow.
It'd be so funny if he watches and he's like, that should have lost. Like, immediately.
My
Called you guys
least
out, I'm
favorite
pissed
movie.
off. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so that brings us to the final
The
round.
final showdown.
2 Avengers
Wow, I
movies,
don't-
part 1, part 2, Infinity War versus Endgame.
Oh, you chose Infinity War.
That's what I said. Oh wait, no, I'm an idiot. Why did I do that? Yep, Guardians 3. Guardians 3 versus
Okay,
Endgame.
yeah,
That
I was
would have
like,
been
what?
wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Oops. Sorry. I forgot what I just did. Yeah, Guardians 3 Endgame. This is such an anticlimactic
You
fight.
can't-
Right, because
Like,
You know
I
what?
can't believe that I'm
Retroactively, I'm going to Infinity War just so we have a decent discussion about the final winners. Alrighty, so we're going. Guardians 3 was great. Infinity War.
Yeah, I feel
think
like Guardians
just-
3 could be a little bit of recency bias for me too. I'm fine with going Infinity War.
We're going
actually.
Infinity War for the sake of this being a worthwhile
Yeah,
talk for the
yeah.
finale.
I
Alrighty.
don't actually know. Like, I don't like the idea actually of calling Guardians 3 the best Marvel movie right now. So.
Do you feel better about these other two? Let's find out.
Yeah, I'll say Infinity War over Endgame. That's pretty easy.
All right.
For me, I think.
Yeah, it's not much of a discussion actually.
Just for Michael's sake, would you agree?
Yeah.
I don't know that I would. I feel like there was a lot of time
Interesting.
spent on like the like not Mjolnir, Stormbreaker, like Thor just going off to go build a hammer, and like it was a bit scattered. But I do credit it as far as like sharing screen time with everybody. It was executed perfectly. It felt like a little bit of everybody. Building up Thanos as the big bad, and then the emotional sacrifices and the constant, like, I don't know, like as far as ending, I also have a bias against part ones, just because like Empire Strikes Back, I don't love as much as most people. That's not really a part one, but still, like
I get what
setting
you're
up,
saying. Yeah,
like
yeah.
movies that don't end, like conclude
set
the
it,
story.
yeah.
But I will admit, I'll say it. Yeah, Infinity War is better. I'll say that. No, I just flip flopped completely. I just realized how emotional, like how much it tied in.
It's so emotional, so good. Yeah.
Well, I think part of it too is I like the setting of Wakanda as the climax for the movie versus random like empty planet, like where we're just fighting, like it's just a battlefield kind of.
Oh,
Wasn't
for
that-
Endgame?
Oh, the
Well, it's
Avengers
Earth.
compound. That was the Avengers compound.
What?
For Endgame.
The end of Endgame.
It's Earth.
Oh,
That's the Avengers
yeah,
compound,
like-
yeah.
Oh yeah. It was just
Are you
like
thinking of
destroying-
Endgame or Infinity War? Because Infinity War, they're on like that random.
No,
on Titan.
no. I was just thinking like, I guess in Endgame it's kind of devastated, so it's just like barren land battlefield kind of thing.
Yeah.
Which is I think
fair.
some movies like fall into the trap of just like we're just fighting on open like uninteresting space. Like
I love that the setting of the final fight is what decided this.
well no, but
think
that's
it
just
decided
that's
it.
just part of it is like I think Wakanda I think it's so interesting how much they secluded themselves from everything, and then they kind of get challenged to open up their borders a little bit, and then they kind of become the setting of like it's literally coming to their doorstep, like this war.
Yeah.
But I just love their I don't know. I just think things set in Wakanda. This kind of goes back to how far Black Panther went into the bracket.
Yeah.
It's such an interesting world that they built there. And I think the characters, to me, them defending the home of Wakanda makes me more emotionally invested than than the Avengers compound. Even frankly, I mean, I just don't really care about the Avengers compound actually.
Alrighty, so the winner of the Marvel bracket 2023.
Infinity
It's
War.
Infinity
Avengers.
War. I feel like that's very.
It's a good choice.
I mean, it's a good choice. I feel like that's a very safe,
Safe choice.
popular.
That's
People
fair.
are gonna agree, you know.
Yeah.
But I mean, hey, if it's true,
Yeah.
like I guess
Yeah.
it works, you know.
There you go. All right, cool. Well, thank you so much for watching this bracket. Thank you so much for watching and listening to this bracket. Thank you to Michael for producing our show and stepping in on this one, creating the graphics, all that good stuff. Come back. Please like this video because it does help us in the YouTube metrics and it helps us keep doing what we're doing. And make sure to subscribe and we'll see you next time.
Turn on the
like a
face
smile, yeah.
It's funny because he smiled to the mic, so no one saw it.
Yeah. Reese smiled
No
to
one
you.
said
but-
that was film history. I guess it was.
Well, it's not
history.
film
We didn't need
history.
to,
Yeah. And that was films. Yeah.